To the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line, and it is always an honor to welcome President Trump back onto the show. Mr. President, hope you're doing good this morning.
I am. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. President, I want to get your reaction to what happened in D.C. I have to tell you, I'm kind of glad you did not win in D.C. because that is the swamp, and it looks to me like the people that are going to vote for Nikki Haley are the swamp dwellers.
Well, we didn't do anything in D.C. because it is the swamp. And had we gone there and done a little work on it, we probably could have won. We almost thought it was good because you take a look, it represents the swamp, the people that we're not exactly in love with. And we didn't care. We assumed, I know she went there, she spent everything in D.C. And it's very few delegates. It's a small one. But we did win the big ones yesterday, as you know.
I'm curious, and we had one of our listeners from Bartlett, Tennessee, and he said, what do you think Nikki Haley is up to here, Mr. President? She knows she has no path to victory. Do you think she's trying to stage some sort of a third-party run down the road?
Well, I doubt it. She's not doing well. You know, if you look at the states that we've had, she's getting beaten in record numbers. She was beaten by DeSantis in the one state that he was in, and although she tried to claim victory, if you remember that little fiasco, she tried to say that she beat him, and he sort of then went his way. But she's not doing well, and she's sort of like a spoiled brat, and it's very interesting to watch actually, because she's getting clobbered. I think on Tuesday they say it's possible that I'll win every one or most of them. And it looks like we might very well win every one. So that'll be great.
Well, I know you've got a lot of fans in Tennessee, my home state. And one of the big issues we've been facing in Memphis, Mr. President, where we've been under the rule of Democrats for generations, we have a George Soros-style district attorney and a clueless mayor. And crime is off the charts. The mayor is actually holding secret meetings with gang leaders to see what they need to get them to stop shooting people. What is your message to people across America who are just tired of the lawlessness in the streets?
Well, crime has to stop. We have to give our authority back to the police. We have to give authority back to the police, so we have to do it soon. We are going to have more crime than ever before because of the Biden crime wave that is being allowed in. It's called migrant crime. It may very well blow all other crime out the window by comparison. It's big. It's much bigger. Nobody ever thought about it. You know, they think of people coming over and settling down, but they have people coming from jails, from prisons, from mental institutions. They have people coming from rough areas, rough places, and they didn't realize what they were doing, because when they let these people in, many of these people are murderers, they're drug dealers and drug addicts, but drug dealers. They are letting people in our country, and they're really, they're poisoning our country. They are poisoning our country with this. And nobody had any idea it would be this way. I did, and I said it was going to happen if they do this. And what's happening is you have a large criminal population that's been injected into our system, into our country. And you're going to have to get those police, let them be real happy, have them have their authority back, and things will happen. But we are putting into our country people that are rough and tough, and people that came from places you don't want to hear about. It's terrible. And it was so obvious. But now it's happening. I guess it took them a little while to settle in. When you see police officers in a fist fight, now they've had worse than fist fighters, but the concept of a fist fight with a police officer, I've never seen that. I've seen people do a quick little shot or, do something against police, shout at them and do worse than that, shoot them and run. But I've never seen people standing in the middle of a street having fistfights with police officers, and that's what you got. And in their country, they'd be dead within 2 minutes. These are rough countries that they're coming from. They would be dead within minutes if a thing like that happened.
Mr. President, everything you said during that speech, coming down the escalator so many years ago, every single thing you said and predicted has come true. And I know you've covered a lot of these stories. You've talked about a lot of these stories of crime, but it just seems to me the Lake and Riley story really hit you. And I know you called the family, and it's as if the media, the White House, they have completely ignored what happened to this young girl.
Yeah, they have, and for their own reasons. And the one that did this to her, she was almost unrecognizable. She was beaten so badly. Beautiful, beautiful young woman. It's such a sad story. I spoke to the parents, and they'll never be the same. There's no way they'll ever be the same. They were devastated. The mother was telling me she was such a great nursing student and talking about her so proudly, and now she's not there. And they don't want to talk. These people are sick. These people are sick that are running our country. They're bad people, and we have to get them out. And we get them out. We have to. We get them out on November 5th. I think it's going to go down as the most important day in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. I won in 2016 based on the border. I did such a good job that it wasn't even a topic. It was never mentioned once. The border was never mentioned in 2020. Well, we got millions of more votes anyway than we did previously, but the election was rigged, and it's one of those things, and we can't let that happen again. We have to bring our country back. We have to make America great again, and we'll be able to do it. But this is a big nightmare that this stupid man has imposed into our country. This horrible millions of people, and the real number, I'll bet it's 15 million as of now. It looks like it could be about that number, but nobody has any idea actually. But it's probably 15 million people, and these are rough people. These are people that were not vetted. Nobody checked. Nobody sees where they are. I mean, you have murderers coming in. You have serious criminal elements coming in, and this crime may be bigger, much bigger, and maybe more severe than all the crime we've had in our country before. You can double it up. This is called migrant crime, and it's a tough crime, and they're tough people.
Mr. President, you talked to the Border Patrol agents a few days ago on the border. What were they telling you? What was the concern they have?
Well, they're devastated that this could happen to our country. I mean, the concern is that the borders are open. Governor Abbott's done a great job in Texas and almost closing the borders. We had it so good. We were in such a great shape. When I was running it, we had the best border, the safest borders in the history of our country. And now we have the worst.
You're right.
Ever in the world. No country has ever done this, a thing like this. It's never happened before. And it's never happened in numbers like this before. We're talking 15 million people already. By the time he gets out of office, it could be 20 million people. And many of those people are so bad, okay? So bad. Somebody will say, oh, that was a little rough. I said, it's not rough. It's the fact. They're so bad. And you're never going to make them good. Nothing you can do will make them good.
All right, Super Tuesday, Mr. President, and you're right. This could be historic. What is your message, and especially to minority voters out there who are just so disgusted now? I think people are coming to realize that they got screwed by the Democrat Party. What is your message to the American people for tomorrow?
Well, first of all, my message to the African American people and to the Hispanic American people and Asian American people too, is that you're going to lose your jobs with the migrants. The migrants are going to be taking your job. They're going to be getting less money, much less money, and they're going to be taking your jobs. I say that message to unions also. You have unions, and unions are going to be decimated by this wave of millions and millions of people. If you drive a truck and you're proudly driving a truck and you're getting a nice salary, I think your job is going to be lost. It's going to be absolutely lost. That's why I think the Teamsters hopefully will be voting for me. I don't know what's going to happen, really. I think the Teamsters themselves will. I don't know about leadership, but I like their leadership. But I don't know about leadership. But I think Teamsters are going to be voting for me because I'm going to close up the border. We're going to close up. First thing I do is close up the border. The second thing, but basically simultaneously, we're going to drill, baby drill, get energy prices down. Everything else is going to follow. I don't know if you've ever seen bacon. It's 4 times more expensive than it was 3 years ago. Nobody's seen anything like this. And they don't include a lot of the really bad items in their reports. Their reporting, they keep them out. So it looks like inflation's at 3%, but it's at 40% in terms of what it's done. And people are being wiped out. People that made money, had a little money left over, you could save it, do what you want. They're getting wiped out. They're dipping into their savings accounts. And if they don't do that, they can't survive. And there are many people that don't have savings accounts. So it's a devastating thing. We're going to make America great again. We're not going to let nations take advantage of us. We're going to stop the crime wave. The crime wave is beyond belief. We're going to give police back their dignity and their strength and respect and authority. And we're going to do something that will be absolutely amazing. But it's much harder. If the election weren't rigged, none of this would have happened. Ukraine wouldn't have happened either. And Israel being attacked wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have had inflation. You would have had a great country. We're on the way to it. And then they did this. They interjected 15 million people already into a system that can't hold it. No, it is not sustainable. It is not possible. It is so unbelievable that they did this because a moron would realize this doesn't work.
Well, Mr. President, we know you've got a super busy day. I do have to say thank you for endorsing my new book, Twilight's Last Gleaming, and you invited us down to do the interview there at Mar-a-Lago, and I'm just the one takeaway from that whole meeting, Mr. President, you're able to multitask on a level that is just not human. I don't know how you do that, but we just had a blast down there, and thank you for endorsing the book project.
Well, as far as multitasking, I'm intelligent. We don't have an intelligent man in the White House. He can't talk about 2 subjects. He can't talk about one subject, and this is our president. It's just absolutely insane what's going on. But your book is great, and I'm proud of it. I heard it's doing really well, and I'm very proud of you. That's good. You've done a great job, Todd. We really, a lot of people, can't say everybody, right? But a lot of people are really very happy with what you've done. Proud of you.
Mr. President, we appreciate you, and we're excited for what's going to happen in November. We just got to get out the votes.
Well, we got to get out the votes, and we got to make sure they don't cheat. Well, that's what 90% of my effort is this year.
All right.
Make sure they don't cheat. We have the votes. We have to make sure they don't cheat. And you take care of yourself.
All right, Mr. President, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, President Donald John Trump, a great American. And, folks, you heard the message from the president. We've got to get out there. Thank you, Mr. President. We've got to get out there, and we've got to do our part by voting. And a lot of that happens, by the way, in the Memphis area, Ben Dieter, tomorrow.